Greetings, programs, and welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. Sorry for the lull in things. Combination of holidays and my wife and I both getting fairly sick around the same time kinda slowed things down, but I'm back. Hopefully things will run smoothly for a while. So, today, instead of doing the whole top 10 figures of whatever, since I really didn't have time for that, and I want to actually give all these figures reviews instead of just quick lists, I decided that I would just take a look at what is my favorite figure that I got all of last year. Now, I know this guy came out 2018, but I got him last summer, so he is my favorite figure that I got in 2019. But anyway, for those who haven't guessed, this is the Studio Series Starscream. And this thing is just so much better than it has any right to be. You know, as you can see, it's got just nice, airbrush details just to break up the gray so it's not all monotone. It's got, the Decepticon logo there on the wing. This guy is a heavy remold of the deluxe, I want to say, Revenge of the Fallen Starscream, which, for a bit of size, you can see. But they did change some things for the Studio Series Voyager, and it's one of those cases where the few changes they made makes the figure like 20 times better. So, as you can see, the weapon just plugs on right back here. You've got 2 tabs there, then 2 tabs right there on his weird little missile blade thing. It looks weird, but it is what he had in the movie, so there's that. And before I go too far, there is actually a variant of this guy that has the tattoos, like this one. And instead of coming with the missile launcher, he actually has like a saw blade. I don't have that one. I have this one. But yeah, overall, especially for what it has to, what it has to put up with in transformation and everything, this is an incredibly clean figure. He does have a flight port in both modes. The robot one is, the jet mode one is right there. I don't have a stand to show it on, but, and of course, you can fold up the landing gear and everything. And just overall, this thing is it's so much better than it has any right to be. And I did not have the back pegged in, because of course I did not. So, for a few more size comparisons, here he is with the original movie 1, Voyager Starscream. And see how he compares to the original mess they gave us. And this guy will get his own video fairly soon. Don't worry. This thing needs to be talked about. Here he is with the Siege Starscream. And just for fun, here he is with the jet half of Overlord. And as you can see, it's kind of amazing how big they can make something when it's hollow. I'm just going to say that right now. This guy weighs like twice as much as this does. So, there's a reason for the size discrepancy we've had lately. It turns out that Transformers don't have size classes as much as they have weight classes. But, anyway, transforming this guy is basically exactly the same as this guy, for anyone who's, familiar with this figure. fold down the tail fins, unclip just the back of the plane from right there. There's a whole bunch of tabs actually that clip in. Raise these up just a little bit to help get everything detached. Flip them over. Open up these two panels. Untab the arms. You kind of want to fold this piece. It'll be sitting flat. You want to fold it down a little bit. That'll get you a little more clearance to rotate it out. And rotate out the arm. Same thing on this side. And important to know, unlike the original, this arm actually tabs in several places as it folds up. So the transformation on this guy is incredibly solid. So after you've got that done, you'll want to pull these up the rest of the way. Fold this down. Then carefully fold this piece out. This is one of the new pieces not seen on the original the deluxe figure. And it does really these like to pop off while you're transforming him. Once he's transformed, they lock in really well though. So go ahead, do that. About now I like to start bringing this up just to make sure it's still got clearance. Fold down the legs and then fold them out. And just kind of get them situated however you want. There's a nice little chicken walk thing going on there. Also take a moment to point out you get to see his spine while you're in transformation. So I think that's pretty cool. It was on the original, but they made it a lot more defined on this one. So, up here you have a double hinge. So, you want to pull the first hinge down. I have never had that happen before. Thankfully, this just snaps back in. But yeah, just fold that one down. This one will kind of go when it wants to. Fold that back up. Pretend that never happened. Flip up this piece. Fold these up, and then it's hard to see, but there's a little tab sticking out right here that will go into that slot on the back. Let's go ahead and get those tabbed in. Then on the back, there's the tabs right here that also act as the stopping points for these fins. But those will come up and snap in right there. Then just fold out the arms and the hands. And there you have Starscream. And clearly you're only going to like this figure if you're okay with the movie design of Starscream. While it's weird, I do still enjoy that design. And this is probably the best still transforming representation of it you could hope for. So, I mean, I just want to take a moment to point out here how thin the backpack is. Because if I go over here and grab the original guy, you'll see that the backpack stayed basically just as thin as it did on the original. So he got, that much bigger and still kept the same backpack thickness. So anyone who's part of the, Back Lives Matter, Jobby the Hong view, this is probably going to be a figure that you adore, because it looks worse on camera than it is in person, but you can still see it's so small. It is so compact. And right here you can see this is your other flight stand port for while he's in robot mode. And just to go over kind of the main differences, obviously there's this part that they added to fold out and, fill this in better. But then the main thing they did was change how the arms work, the types of joints used. Because in the original here, you've got a ball joint on the shoulder, whereas this one, you actually have a double hinge, which means, you get the same range of motion. You just, the arm stays in a little bit different position, which I'm very okay with. The hinge down here is the same on both of them. Then you had a ball-jointed elbow, which was kind of the closest you got to a wrist swivel. This one, camera. But yeah, so that's how, and then he just had like a double hinge for his arm, for his hand, I mean. So he basically was always in some form of, the arms just never posed very well on this one. I'll leave it at that. Whereas this one, you've got your bicep swivel here, and then they kept the first hinge on the hand, but then the hand itself is actually on a ball joint. So he can actually, do things with his hand and, hold it at the right angle instead of having to just constantly have it like that and, gorilla arm. Granted, this design kind of looks like it has gorilla arms at all times anyway, but it's better here. So I'll give it that. It's better. So, as for posability, obviously, we just went through the arms. He's also got a hinge right there from the transformation. You can use that if you need to. Legs have a really, really good range of motion. We got a swivel down here at, I guess you'd consider that the knee, or the second knee, maybe. No ankle tilt, unfortunately. That's like the only thing he's missing. But depending on his pose, you can move the, landing gear heel spur into position a little more, if that helps. And you can, angle his little vulture toes here. Then, new to this version, he can actually look up. Can't really look down, but he can look up. The original could not do that. Then he's just got a, basic swivel for side to side. One of the only real negatives I have on this guy is the big visible screw hole on the side of his head. But again, that was on the original too. So, it's kind of whatever. Now, another really, really cool thing about this guy is actually the way he uses his weapon. This guy, they basically could release this guy as a masterpiece if they wanted to. If they can take that weird, overly electronic Bumblebee and release that in Japan as a masterpiece, this guy really deserves to be counted a masterpiece. I think there is a masterpiece movie, Starscream. I'm not sure. I'll actually look really quick while I'm editing this. But anyway, so to attach his guns, you can either just use, the forearm hole there with this peg. And funny enough, that's what they show on the website. or like say Amazon if you're going to get this guy. But the proper way to do it is you actually fold the arm up, fold the hand up, tab it back in on the forearm there, and then these two pegs here will actually plug into his wrist. So you get that full, just converted hand thing going on like he had in the movie. Now, I know that this guy is, he's a studio series, so they've got the backdrop. I got this guy secondhand. I don't have his backdrop. So, unfortunately, sorry, I can't show you what he looks like posed in front of his backdrop. But, either way, yeah, this is far, far and above my favorite figure that I got for the entirety of last year. And that's saying something, because I got some pretty cool figures last year. Again, this guy is fantastic. If you're a fan of Starscream, if you're a fan of any of the movie designs, this guy is an absolute must-buy. Either get this one, maybe find the one that's got the tattoos. The weapon and everything works the same on him. It's just a different weapon. But still attaches the same way and everything. Oh, and stupid me, forgot. When you don't want the weapon on him, you've got, a whole bunch of ports to choose from. I like to use this one right here in the small of his back. Because even with the storage, still, I'll say it again, tiny backpack. Very tiny backpack. So, anyway, disorganized, rambly video aside, hope you guys enjoyed. Pick this figure up, and have a good day.